nervous energy out already, guys. Just get the nervous energy out.
That's all good. All right. So we're live. So welcome to, I'm Lisa. I'm a member of the Economic Action Team, and the Economic Action Team's mission is to bring you engaging and inspiring conversations with economic leaders and innovators and learning about their experiences and insights on how they create a more sustainable future. And today we have with us Craig Gallagher. And Craig, I'm going to pass the microphone on to you to share about yourself as I figure out this camera, so I don't have to into two cameras. So, welcome.
No worries. Thank you. My name's Craig. I'm 27 years old. I am from Glasgow, Scotland. And for the last few years, I've been involving myself with the sustainable sector by doing social media and working on the eco businesses' social media channels and learning everything about that way.
That's great. So tell us what, let's see, how are you doing there, Wayne? You get your sound going there, Wayne?
I did. We're good.
All right. So,
this is the most bizarre thing. Audience, you got to hear this. In 50 feet from me, okay, in another room, I have a massage chair that's state of the art, all this very cool stuff. And the sound was playing on my massage chair. And I could kind of barely hear it in the background. It was not playing on any number of different of my devices that I have right here with me in my office. And GoToWebinar is a little weird to get it to go. And I finally found where I could change it and get it in. But why my massage chair out of nowhere decides to pick up my sound, I have no idea. That was bizarre.
Yeah, it's probably because it's probably a lot more interested than me anyway, so it's okay. We'll forgive you for that, Wayne.
Yeah. Well, okay, good to see you. Good to have you.
That's nice. It's nice to see you again as well, Wayne. Thanks for having me on. It's always a treat coming back onto the Economic Action Team podcast.
Well, we always love having you. And
thank you.
You're going to play some music for us today, right?
No, unfortunately not today. No, I'm on vocal rest. I'm currently doing rehearsals for a couple of shows that I've hopefully got planned in the summer. So I'm getting rehearsals at the minute, so I'm currently on vocal rest today. Sorry.
That's all right. Well, that happens. And audience, if you would, both those that are live and those that will be listening and watching this on replay, put your questions in for Craig, or any comments or thoughts. And Lisa, thank you for coming in and taking up the slack with me being gone, and stay on with us, Lisa, and ask Craig some questions as we move along.
I'm still trying to work out this webcam thing, but I'll get it so that you're not having to look at the side of my face. So
it's not a problem.
Carry on.
We can fix all this in the editing. It's okay. We can fix all of this in editing. It's okay.
That's right. So.
Well, let's start out with this, because some folks in our audience have not seen you when you've been on with us before, Craig.
Yeah.
Tell us where you're coming from, and I'm guessing it's not France. It's funny, but he has a little bit of an accent, and you guys can pick it up. And then a little bit, sort of tell us where in the part of the world that you're at, in more specifically, sort of.
I'm currently in Glasgow, Scotland. That's where I was from. I was born here, and then in 2016 I moved to Chester University, to study at university.
And tell us where that is from Glasgow.
Yeah, Chester. That's about 250 miles down from Glasgow, so that's in England, and it's in the northwest of England.
And how does the terrain vary from those two different places? What's it?
Yeah, it's about 3 hours on the train, 3.5 hours on the train. It's nothing.
And the countryside, is it hilly?
It's gorgeous. Yeah. When you go down and everything, you can see all the hills and everything. It is just gorgeous. Like the British countryside is spectacular. It's one of the only nicest things about here, unfortunately, because that's all we've got, and we don't really have that great of weather.
Well, I remember when we talked last week, You were in one of those beautiful weather times, and I was in some kind of ugly weather here. He actually
Yeah, well,
showed.
it is actually sunny right now. It's gorgeous outside right now as well.
All right. So tell us what inspired you to start Extreme Hangout, and
No, I
also,
didn't start. No, I didn't start Extreme Hangout. So
okay,
the Eco Diary, sorry.
all right. Well,
Okay,
tell us about your kind of life and mission. What is it that you would love to see? If we look back after you're dead, what would you hope your legacy will be?
that my generation, we actually hopefully started to fix all the messes that we've caused before us, like climate change, and that's the main reason why I've basically got into this sector, is basically because the world's on fire. Like, everything's getting a lot more expensive, like gas and electric and everything. It's just becoming so expensive when it doesn't need to be. And I just want to use my voice and platform that I've built to try and educate an audience on how they can actually be sustainable. And that's why I started the Eco Diary, which is a multimedia platform advocating for a sustainable future. And I'll be turning that into a podcast as well as my website, which has already got some blog pages on already, which I'm trying to collaborate with other eco creators as well around on as well. And the Extreme Hangout, that's the most recent part. That's the most recent job that I've been working on. That is, the Extreme Hangout is the sister company of Extreme International, which was founded in 1995 by Alastair Gosling as an extreme sports channel. And now posts extreme sports videos on Facebook and Instagram. It's currently got about 5 million followers on Facebook and about 400,000 on Instagram. But they were inspired by the love of adventure sports and the natural world and passion to protect the climate. They established the Extreme Hangout, which you can see on on your screen there, and they started that at COP26 in Glasgow, and they're taking it. They've taken it to top COP27 in Egypt, and they are going to be hosting hangouts in COP27 in Dubai as well. And my main job working there was doing like the editorial, speaking to the brands and the companies involved in the eco sector and everything. It was a really, really, really interesting job, and I was just part of being proud of it because they are trying to strive for giving the youth a voice and make our voices heard in this space.
So if we were to take what you know about the community, the farm community, the growing community, the ones that grow things around Glasgow. We'll start there. Then we'll go to where you're at living now in England. But let's start with Glasgow. What would you say the percentage of farmers are that are being eco-friendly versus those that aren't?
That's actually an interesting question. It's one that I would love to know off of the top of my head. But to be fair, like in my surrounding areas, there isn't really that much farms. There's more in like the Highlands of Scotland and more further out, because Glasgow's very much a city and it's just suburbs surrounding it. So we've got a bit of countryside, but not much farming and agricultural. But when you go rural to the rural parts of Scotland as well, you see a lot more. And I think Scotland is like the leading source for renewable energy at the moment for our wind power as well.
So your guess is that Scotland is becoming more eco-friendly in their farming?
Yes. Then the rest of the UK, I would definitely say so.
Okay. How would you say that social media has affected your work at both the Eco Diary and Extreme Hangout and things that you've just done broadly? Do you use social media a lot? And if so, which of the platforms do you like best, and how have you used them?
Yeah, well, as I've previously said, that was my job as well at Extreme Hangout. I was primarily doing editorial and reaching out to brands and asking other pages to repost their content, as well as designing our own original content. And it's pretty much the same as like the Eco Diary. Really, it's given me a lot to think about, and it's given me a good in-depth knowledge on how to research some topics beforehand and actually reach out to climate activists so I can actually interview them myself.
So,
What are some of the topics that you all are talking about on the?
Well, I'm currently talking with a friend of mine who's a fashion designer, sustainable fashion designer named Carla, and we're really we're discussing about the circular economy and fast fashion, how it's basically killing the planet just as bad as carbon emissions is. So we're really talking about like trying to start. She wants to start a sustainable fashion line and really get the message out about the circular economy and how we can reuse all old products, and that's why I'm happy to have them right for me in the Eco Diary website. So it's just all about the Eco Diary is just all about trying to bring creators, musicians, entrepreneurs, everybody basically just wants to try and do their bit to save the planet, even if they don't actually, even if they're not going to like act. Sorry, we can cut this bit out, can we? Sorry.
Craig, what does voice rest mean for a singer like yourself?
A vocal rest, just basically just not singing, not being loud, which is kind of difficult for me because I'm a fairly loud person. And I've recently understood that a lot of people overseas can't really understand me because of my accent. So I do want to apologise if it sounds like a madman rambling, which it is. It is basically, but just with a funny accent.
You actually don't have that much of an accent at all. You're very easy.
Oh, I'm trying to water it down. I'm watering it down the best I can.
You're doing a great job.
All right. Depends on where people are listening in from. We're the ones with the funny accents. So.
No. It just sounds like I'm watching a movie.
One of our audience asked a funny question, a great question though. Sean Connery, James Bond history. Is he Scottish or is he British?
Yes, yeah, he's from Edinburgh. Yeah, he's an East Coaster. Yeah, he's from Edinburgh.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And did the game of golf start in Scotland, or was it started?
I believe so. I believe it was.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I'm not much of a golfer myself. I'm more of a football fan, or what you guys call soccer, but that's a different topic.
Did you like the results this weekend in the Premier League?
Oh no, the English Premier League. Yeah, I do follow it. Fair play to Man City. It's all right to win when you've got $2 billion. Yeah, that helps.
Right. So you still kick the ball around a little yourself?
Yeah. I try to from time to time just to keep a bit in shape. Really.
Yeah. If you just went out on a Saturday or an afternoon and looked for some kind of what we would call here in the States for basketball, a pickup game, just people that were playing in a park, could you find those kinds of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when the sun is shining. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So again, looking ahead from your voice side, what would you hope that 5 years from now that you'd be doing with your ukulele playing and your voice to help the planet? What would you hope you'd be doing 5 years from now with your voice and your musical, anything you do musically with your ukulele or whatever else you play instrument-wise? Is he muted? Yeah.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Now we do. Now
Sorry,
we do.
everything just sort of froze for a second there. That was really, really weird. Sorry about that. I thought you.
So you were probably answering it, but my question was, 5 years from now, what would you like to be doing with your musical skills in terms of your musicianship and your singing? What would you like to do that would be helping the planet?
No, ideally, well, with the Eco Diary and hopefully working with Extreme, as I mentioned, Extreme, they are hosting hangouts at the COP events. I would like to be involved with that so the Eco Diary can actually host their own hangout in Glasgow, and hopefully I could bring along a lot of other musicians and everything so we could all have a laugh, play some music, and talk about how we can make a change to the planet. And I feel like that would be a good entrance to teaching people how to be some more sustainable while throwing them a ukulele or two.
So when you're just hanging out and listening to music, either alone or with friends, what do you listen to?
I like to recently. Because I've been writing a lot more music. I've been writing music with a producer in New York, so I've been recently listening to an awful lot of the Rolling Stones, a little bit of New Order. Been listening to a lot of heavy stuff. I've been listening to like Metallica, a bit more. I like the Clash and everything. And some. To be fair, I've got a bit of an eclectic music taste. I can go from listening to the Hannah Montana soundtrack to Cannibal Corpse. So it varies.
Who do you think is, give me a list of the top 5 lead guitarists of all time.
Oh, Keith Richards, Slash. Slash is personally my favourite. Keith Richards, he's good. Chris, I can't remember any off the top of my head. I've completely forgotten. Do you know when somebody asks you what your favourite book is and everybody you just completely forget every book that you've ever read?
Would Clapton be in that list?
Yeah, I love Clapton as well. Yeah, Clapton. He's sick. Yeah, he was fantastic in Cream as well. And he was a guitarist in Derek and the Dominos as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. How about Santana?
Yeah, I do like Santana. He is good.
I'm just
but I have to say, my all-time favorite has to be Slash. Yeah, just think.
Yeah, I actually think he'd be in my top.
Alex Lifeson, actually. Sorry, Alex Lifeson from Rush. He's probably one of my favorites as well.
Awesome. How about drummers?
Oh, Neil Peart, without a doubt, top. May he rest in peace. He was the top 10. He was like the best drummer. And then probably Travis Barker from Blink-182.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite drummers, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, Lisa, why don't you throw in a few more questions here?
All right. Well, I'm going to circle back to Extreme Hangout because we have a question from one of our listeners that they're interested in hearing more about Extreme Hangout and, like what the experience is like, what they're going to, how to participate around the world. And then, additionally, I have a follow-up question about how extreme sports is becoming more ecological friendly, or curious to hear some of your insights from your interviews and experiences that you had recently.
Yeah, well, to answer your first question, just basically you can reach out to the Extreme Hangout page on Instagram at Extreme Hangout, and you can answer your questions there. The team there are very, very friendly, and they'll answer any questions that you need. So if you do want to get involved, I would recommend that you can reach out to them on their Instagram page or Facebook page, which is just Extreme Hangout. And you can be able to drop them a message on there, preferably on Instagram, and they will get back to you fairly quickly. And sorry, what was the second question again?
Just what did you learn, because extreme sports and sustainability and the environment. So can you expand for some of our viewers, because we have people who listen in from all over the world who may not know what extreme sports are and why there would be an interest in sustainability and the planet. And
well, it was as I said earlier, it was founded in 1995 in the extreme. It started off as an extreme sports channel, and it was founded by Alistair Gosling and his wife, Amber Nuttall. She is the sustainability director for Extreme Hangout, and she's been a part of the ecological movement and sustainability movement for pretty much her whole life, for a good part of, she's going to hate me for saying this, but maybe a good part of over 30 years. And she is just an absolutely lovely person. She really mentored us and taught us how to actually approach approach clients and everything, and how to approach brands in an ecological way and everything. And it was just a very fantastic job to work in. And they launched the Hangouts at COP26 in Glasgow as well, because and they took it to COP27 in Egypt, and they've got over 300 They've had over 300 speakers such as Bear Grylls. If you know who Bear Grylls is, he's quite famous in the UK.
We were talking about golf earlier, so can you give some examples for our listeners about what an extreme sport is? Like an example, go really basic.
Yeah, sorry, an extreme sport, like for example, is just like, have you ever seen those like GoPro videos of like just cyclists literally just going through all the city and everything, that they start like flying off like the stairs and everything and all that? They start posting all that sort of stuff and everything on their Facebook page and everything. And it's really, really interesting. You see a lot of people doing like parkour and everything, a lot of like extreme skateboarding and everything. It is, I think that's what the first passion was, but they were so passionate about about wanting to solve the climate crisis, they actually made the Extreme Hangout, and they released it at COP26, and it's been a success ever since. And they're going to their third COP now as well, and hoping to have a hangout with them as well in collaboration as well in Glasgow at some point as well.
That's great. So a hangout is someone can have something local happening in their own, and everyone streams together.
They can have. That is the overall goal. You have to have hangouts in lots of cities around the world.
By the way, I'm gonna quickly just jump in and say hi to one of our guests. That he used to be a regular, and I haven't seen him in a while. Robert, man, how you doing, big guy? Robert's out there, and he put a big heart on his post for you, Craig. So,
oh, thank you very much. Thank you. It's much appreciated. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit nervous. It's been a little while since I've done a podcast as well, so just trying to find my sea legs.
You're doing great. Appreciate it. Lisa, what did you follow all those sports? Parkour, by the way, is a sport that is very highly regarded now in shows like American Ninja Warrior, which is a television show that's all over the world, and it's streamed also to where the people that do it, that's a form of parkour, or parkour with outdoors where they're jumping off of buildings and they're doing flips off of railings, and it's really sort of all on your feet.
Yeah, sorry, it's there. So if you click on the Extreme Official page, you'll be able to see it. It is all the stuff that they post it's so cool. It is a fantastic company, to be honest.
And what are some of the ways that some of the innovations that you got to learn about?
Well, the main one one of the brands that I was involved in was Junk Couture. That is it was like a sustainable fashion show for children that were the ages between 13 to 18, and they had to design their own clothing and everything, and they had to do it on a runway. So that was based in Dublin, Ireland, and we were in talks with them to like do a collaboration with them. So that was one of the brands that I had the pleasure to sit in on the meetings with and seeing how it all works.
Tell us a little bit more about that. What was some of the fashions that you got to see?
Oh, it was just.
And did people have a good time with it?
Yeah, no, I was just in the meetings and everything. They've got loads of. I think it was televised as well. I'm not sure. And yeah, no, it was just fantastic. Just like seeing like the young Generation Alpha, and the younger Gen Zs actually being innovative and creative and actually making their own clothing from bits of like tissue paper, just recycled anything, recycled garments and everything, recycled jeans. It was just fantastic just to see like the young generation being innovative and clever like that. Because I can tell you, I wasn't like that when I was younger.
So was this concept clothing, or was this stuff, or were these items that you could actually wear? Like,
I think it was just
functional.
concept clothing. I think it was just concept clothing, really. Yeah, no, it was just really, really creative. Because as a creative person myself, I've been performing, acting, singing, and dancing my whole life. So it's just really nice to see that happen, and just to see that the younger generation are actually being creative and innovative whilst trying to actually better the planet. It gives me a lot of hope.
It's great. And how is it inspiring your writing? Tell us about some of your lyrics that you've been working on.
Oh yeah, to be fair, I've not really written many lyrics recently. I've been going through a bit of a mental block. That happens from time to time, but I've written a few songs that are in pre-production right now. So I'm looking forward to really writing them and just trying to get back into songwriting as well. So I'm definitely going to be taking a lot of inspiration from what the kids have done.
And what are some of the themes that are coming out in that?
One's about my ex-girlfriend, as
Oh, okay. So love and romance, yeah.
sure, yeah. And I've written a song. Actually, I've written a type of like a ballad type song. It's dedicated to my gran and my granddad about their marriage and life. It's called Pictures, and that'll be coming out hopefully soon as well. That's a nice little ode to them and their marriage and life together.
That sounds lovely. Do you have, you're talking about performing to inspire people to have conversations about the climate and take actions and do things like that. Do you have any material like that on the way or coming or?
Oh yeah, no, I'll be not music wise, but I will be writing a lot of blog content, and I will be interviewing some climate activists as well for my own podcast. And if I'm lucky enough, hopefully I'll be able to have Wayne on the podcast one day.
We love it. Lisa and I both can
have some fun.
Yeah, we'll have some fun. I can play about 5 chords on a guitar, and I can play.
So can I, and I've tried to make a career out of it. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
So, what would you like to see your age group do a better job of throughout their daily lives to make the planet better?
Actually, just pay attention to what's going around them and not bury their head in the sand. Really, if I'm being completely honest, because I know I get it. My generation, we're all me, but we need to look at the bigger picture here. Like the planet is literally on fire. Places that are usually dry and have got deserts are getting flooded. Countries are flooding as well. It's like you need to you do sort of need to open your eyes at some point and just go wait, what can I do to help? Even if it's just what I do, it's just trying to post silly memes just to get young people to talk about the planet and everything. Just try and do something. I suppose that's all I can say. There's an old saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So all you can do is just try and just do the best you can. And if you've got the spare time, yeah, just try and help save your planet. It's the only home you're gonna get.
Yeah, so share with us about your memes and how you're using social media, to get the conversation going. And does it get conversation going?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes they hit. Sometimes they hit or miss. Yeah, as the post there, watching the planet burn right before your eyes on the way to shops with a tote bag that costs £25. It's just poking fun at the hypocrisies that are going on in the world as well, and just having a laugh about it as well, and as well posting some serious topics as well. But it is mainly poking fun, and I think that just gets my generation talking.
And how's that conversation going in there?
Yeah, it's going all right.
What are you noticing? Some of the questions or resistances, some how are they going? Like,
It's just very, very relatable.
Are you hearing feedback that you want to hear, or are you hearing surprising things?
Yeah, it's all right. No, it's what I was expected. People just like laughing at it, really. I think that's just like the way to try and get the conversation going as well. Just have a bit of humour at it, because the majority of time when people talk about climate activism and everything, it's like it's a hit or a miss sometimes. Like I just want to try and just break the barrier and just try and repost other people's content with permission, of course, and just make some funny, engaging memes that my generation will laugh at, and hopefully they'll be like, oh yeah, actually maybe we should try and help. I should maybe actually recycle a little bit more and everything. Maybe I should eat less meat. Maybe I should buy less plastic. Just like little things like that, just to try and just encourage make the talk a bit more engaging.
And so you're on, so tell us about the platforms that you're using primarily for your social media.
Primarily use Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. Just more like short form video based content, really.
And how is that as a content creator? Like, are you creating
it's all right.
Daily basis, or what's your routine?
It's every damn day. It's all day, every day, pretty much. That's what it's like being working in social media, because you're always having to keep up with the trends and everything. And then there's a lot of time like actually designing posts as well.
How do you keep inspired? No, that's good. That's
I just basically I don't know, I just like look at what's trending and everything. And if I just feel inspired, if I just think of a funny caption in my head, I'll try and find like a template around it and just write about it. Just like that one, for example, energy companies destroying the planet and gaslighting Gen Z into poverty, which is, I think that's pretty accurate.
Tell us some more about that. Like,
I don't think there's much really to tell.
Yeah,
it's just
your perspective and your viewpoint. Yeah, just share what was the inspired. Like, what's actually.
I'm really just fed up. I'm just really fed up of the hypocrisy right now, because in the UK right now we're currently going through an energy crisis and a cost of living crisis because of as the government says, it's because of the ongoing war in Ukraine. But since the war in Ukraine, Europe's gas and oil prices have only gone up maybe about 5%, while Britain's has gone up, has skyrocketed to about 80% increase, 100% increase in our gas and electricity, but we only get 5% of our gas and electricity from Russia. It makes no sense, and it's just pointing out the hypocrisy, because it's just a cost of good crisis, really. It is just the taxes are going up, everything's just getting a lot more and more expensive. And I just want to use any platform that I've got just to try and help, just do my bit, really, in this world. Because you've only got one life.
Exactly. So what would you say the solutions would be?
Well,
what would you want to see?
I don't know.
There's like so many, I know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There needs to be a massive redistribution of wealth. I'd say that's probably the first thing. We need to stop using fossil fuels ASAP, because it's a bit ridiculous that we're still relying on them when we've got so many renewable energies that we can actually use in our day-to-day. And maybe a universal basic income to help the lowest in society get a head start. And that's probably the three things that I would suggest.
Those are your three top.
I don't know how many people would agree with me on that one, but I just want people to be treated fairly in this world, and just treat others as the way to treat yourself, really, I suppose. And if you're nice to others, like, I don't know, hopefully they'll be nice to you back.
For sure. Thanks. Tell us more, share with me more about the circular economy concepts and how that works, because that's
just basically, it's really just, do you know like fast fashion brands like Shine, Boohoo, and ASOS? Or are they just big in the UK? Well, it's
I think we
basically-
can be, fast fashion is like, it's when, the fashion, it's the fashion of the month, right? It's the trends, right?
Yeah. Then it's just made. It's basically made by slaves, essentially, mass produced crap quality clothing as well. That's just mass produced, and it's just not the way to go because it's just piling up. It's just piling up, and it's taken years and years and maybe never for some of this stuff to decompose. And it's just a massive issue, and it's just using, again, just buying and reusing old clothes as well is like one of the best examples actually of like the circular economy. Just with Levi's actually, because like how often do you usually buy like Levi jeans? Usually a guy buys a pair of them, and like they usually last like 30 years because there's just the quality is just so good, and it's just trying to bring it back to that type of quality and not this like flimsy cheap fabrics that we've been using in our clothing for like the last 20 years, just because it's just a cheap alternative.
Craig, one of our listeners asks this, but I will also have it be a question I would ask. What's a book or a blog or something you've read recently that you would highly recommend to our audience to read?
The blog on circular economy that my friend Carla wrote for me on the Eco Diary, that's got a lot more information on it than I've just described.
Okay, it's awesome.
And the fact that one of the most interesting facts is how marketing is going to be completely radicalized and changed in the next 10 years or so, specifically with like anti-aging products. Because by 2030, the people are not going to like this one, the eldest millennials are going to be turning 50. And it's going to be the first generation in history where brands are going to actually have to market it for like an elder audience, for like anti-aging products and everything, because they've been more tech savvy. It was just like a really interesting read. That was on Forbes magazine actually. That one. It was pretty interesting from a marketing perspective.
What worries you globally about potential future in your lifetime catastrophes?
Nuclear annihilation, if I'm being completely honest, or climate change, one or the other.
So then those are very different, as you realize.
Yeah.
And if nuclear annihilation was to happen, it means that essentially whoever opposing parties, whatever they might be, have both engaged, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It means nobody's going to watch this fantastic podcast.
That's right. Not if that happened, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What are the evidences of climate change that you're seeing at home more than any other?
Well, it's really weird that specifically in Scotland, right? Usually, I was born in 1995, so I'm like an elder Gen Z. But in the early 2000s, like every single winter, right? Like nearly every single winter, without a doubt, we would get snowfall, like a lot of snowfall. I've not really seen like a lot of snow, like any snow or anything in Scotland properly in the last like 10 years maybe. And if we do, it's just little bits of sleet snow, and it's getting a lot warmer as well. We're getting a lot warmer weather a lot sooner, a lot quicker. Usually this time in May, we'd start to have a little bit of nice weather like we are having now, but like in like February there, it should be about -6 degrees Celsius, roughly, give or take that, maybe a bit warmer. That's on a bad day. And we had like it was like something like 7 to 17 degrees Celsius. It was like far too hot for like the time of year, and it is really really worrying. And the fact that Pakistan got flooded, which is a dry country, and that's never been flooded before, and the fact that Italy's now flooded as well, and the wildfires currently across the west coast of America as well. what happened in California. That was god awful.
By the way, as you talked with the Reeve, and Reeve's on here, he's muted, but you probably know that he's from Pakistan, so he could weigh in a little
No,
bit.
it was absolutely horrific, and it's just, my God, like, it's absolutely horrific.
No, it was, and I think probably the biggest problem was that they knew flood was coming, but we could never do anything about it.
Yeah, it was the same thing it was the same thing in Turkey and Greece with the earthquakes as well, about the houses, that they knew exactly what was going to happen, but they just didn't. They just allowed it to happen anyway.
Yeah, couldn't do anything. It was devastating. 10 million houses. This concerned 10 million houses. They were gone, and too much. It was really catastrophic.
No, it really was catastrophic.
So, audience, any other questions? I'm going to just scan here real quick, Craig, and see if I see some
It's okay.
you haven't asked. Let's see. So Aaron asks, for COP26 in Glasgow, were you there physically?
No, I wasn't. I was in Chester. I think. Yeah, I was back home. I was still living in Chester. I wish I actually went to it, but from what I've seen from my news feed and on the news and everything, what my friends were saying about it, it wasn't. It was from my generation's point of view, it was the biggest waste of time. There was like so many. It was, again, it's all these promises, like we will fix the planet, we will do better, but then fossil fuel companies and gas oil companies are making record-breaking profits, and the water and the earth is getting warmer as well. So it's just another year of broken promises, really. So,
how many pounds a gallon for gasoline right now in your area?
no idea at the minute. I can search for you.
Oh no, I'll find it.
Yeah.
If you
No
need it.
idea.
So how do you get around most of the time? So if you're going.
I use actually the eco-friendly way. I use public transport, mainly because I don't have my license, which I should probably get around to, because I would like an electric car.
And is public transportation widely available when you need?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Very, 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 very lucky with that in the UK.
And it's not dangerous, meaning not so much the drivers, but you don't have to worry about a person being attacked like in some of the public.
Depends. It just depends on where you are, really, and depend on who's about. But no, for like the majority of the time, I've been fortunate enough to never really been attacked.
Right. Let's see, Aaron, you had another question here. Well, so here's one that I'm going to phrase it a little differently than she does as her question, but she says, according to spiritual prophecy, we are near the end times. What thoughts do you have about that? Do you ever think about the fact that global annihilation, whatever, is really possible, or do you just not think about those kinds of things?
Again, I don't think I'm completely qualified to answer this question. I'm just a singer, but I don't know. Just everything that's just been going on recently in the news. It's just scary, really. It's like my whole generation. We've just been brought up with annihilation, nuclear threat, recession, just one thing after another, really. So it's just see what happens, I suppose. I don't want it to.
Yeah, well, no question.
It's just one of those topics that is just a bit. Could it?
Right. Lisa, what else do you have question-wise?
No, I'm just gonna kind of dovetail off of that and say, what do you do to keep inspired and hopeful on a daily basis? Like, what do you?
Honestly, I like to go for a lot of walks. It's as simple as that is. Like, I genuinely just like to just sometimes put my headphones in and just walk and just like clear my head and everything. Because that's when my body's moving, I start to feel a little bit more creative. I like to sit, just like walk through like a park or whatever, and just like take in the surroundings and just like listen to like birds and everything, just like calm my brain because I've got ADHD, so I try and find a bit of calmness every once in a while, and going for a walk 3 times a day in the nature helps that and helps boost my creativity.
I have one question. I was going through the website, and
Yeah.
it's about extreme hangouts, and I saw leave no trace. That was the that was the line. So, what do you mean by the concept of leaving no trace in extreme sports and outdoor adventures?
Sorry, can you say that again, Eric?
Yeah, leave no trace were the words, was the phrase. And what's the concept between like leave no trace in extreme sports and outdoor adventures? Like, what do you mean by leave no trace?
I am honestly, I genuinely don't know about that one. Sorry.
Arif, I'll answer it for you. Leave no trace is really probably focused most on people that are taking trips. They're going somewhere, so it could just be a trip around the block, or it could be a camping adventure or whatever. You put your trash in containers. Better off you maybe you burn your trash, or you don't leave any trace of the fact that you've been there, so that you don't mar the environment. You don't do anything bad to the environment wherever it is that you've been.
Japanese way of doing it. I remember, like, when you said that, I remember Japan. They were in Qatar, and every time after every game, they used to clean the whole stadium up. So maybe that, yeah.
Thanks, Wayne, for doing my job for me.
Well, and I think that's one of those where that might be a very American phrase, even though Reeves not American. Leave no trace may have completely different mentalities. Others, by the way, just a little interesting one. When I visited the London Bridge area and the Tower of London one time in my life, I took a tour, and the tour guide talked about how when somebody sneezed. So if I were to sneeze, you would probably say "God bless you," or maybe "Gesundheit," which is German. They both sort of mean the same thing. Well, the tour guide said that all came from the gallows that they used to have, where they would hang people right by the Tower of London. And if a person was sneezing before they came to be hung, it was a sign that there was maybe that they were wrongly convicted, and people would yell out, "God bless you."
Yeah.
And the air quality during that time was very poor too. So the fact that a sneeze occurred could have had to do with the really bad air quality that there was in that time frame, with smoke and things that were going around.
We have a very different story here when someone sneezes. So you say "bless you," and we say someone has in your mind, like someone is remembering you. That's why you're sneezing. That's when I hear like someone sneeze, yeah. So my mom used to say like someone is remembering you. I go, okay, that's why. The more they're trying to remember you or they're thinking about you, you sneeze more. that's I just remember like when you say sneezing, say "bless you." We don't say "bless you." Someone is thinking about you.
I don't want to stay on sneezing too long, but you probably, if everybody else is like me, I don't ever just sneeze once. I'm going to sneeze and
10 times.
Again, and sometimes it's 2 or 3 times. So, Craig, what are some things that you'd like to make sure our audience knows about your interests, your passions, and the things you're doing that will help them not be that person who just doesn't give a dang, as they say.
Yeah.
Or say a
Basically,
word.
I just want to like, apart from being a musician and everything, I actually want to chat to more professionals in the ecological and sustainable sector as well, so I can actually learn about myself, because I feel like I'm still very, very fresh in this sector. I'm still trying to like make my way and just trying to just gain some knowledge. And by going on podcasts and discussing it with people like yourselves as well, I feel like I'm getting a lot more insight. And it's just basically, I just want, if anybody's listening to this, just do it. Just even if it's just recycling or something like that, or just eating eating less meat or something like that. Just like having like one meal a week that's just vegetarian or something like that, or just anything. Google how to be more eco-friendly. That's how I started. And you just start, you're getting away, and then who knows, you might try to start a multimedia company while singing and playing the ukulele. It could happen.
Yeah. Totally agree. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Fingers crossed.
so what other questions from you?
No, I just wanted to know how your fans could see your editorials with the that you were talking about earlier, the extreme.
Oh yeah, if you want to follow me
extreme
on my
hate.
socials, you can follow me on Instagram, which is at the Eco Diary. My personal, which is at the Craig Gallagher. And if you want to follow Extreme and Extreme Hangout, they are at Extreme Official and at Extreme Hangout.
So are we going to be able to see your interviews on Extreme Hangout?
No, you'll be seeing the interviews on the Eco Diary, which is mine. I just
Oh,
worked
okay.
I just worked alongside Extreme and Extreme Hangout.
All right, thank you.
No worries.
Sorry, I was a little slow getting there.
No, it's not a problem. It's confusing. Extreme Hangout and Eco Diary, they just both start with an E. It's understandable. I get confused myself.
So it was very interesting.
So, audience, we've got about 6 or 7 minutes left here. Who's got some other questions?
Is there actually people listening in, by the way?
Oh, sure there are. Yep, there are.
Ah, hello. Hope you enjoyed it.
Alicia is putting a lot of thoughts in here. Let me see. He says, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Oh,
I have one question. I have one. So, can you talk about your challenges, like while facing, like promoting eco-friendly practices to Eco Diary? So, you had any challenges, or what's your journey? Like, it took a lot of time, lot of time, and a lot of engagement.
I'm just trying, because unfortunately, when a lot of people find the eco topic is boring, people don't really want to discuss it. Which I find interesting. It's like people say, "Oh yeah, we need to save the planet and everything," but they just start scoring away from all the content because they find it boring. So I've just been trying to like just make memes about it, just poke fun of what's happening and everything, and hopefully, and it seems to get a lot of it. People are starting to get interested in it, really. So I feel like that was just the best way to start the page.
Any criticism?
There was them. What was the criticisms? Yeah, do you remember the SpaceX shuttle that blew up?
I don't remember. Sorry.
Oh, there was a SpaceX shuttle that blew up, and it did the amount of carbon emissions that were released in there. I put a post on my Eco Diary Instagram saying how the planet feels when a space shuttle explodes, and it's I can't remember the name from the movie, but it's the memes there. It's quite funny. So I just try and find like a trending meme and everything, and find the news article, and then just try and find a funny meme around it. Really, if I'm not performing in front of the camera myself, I'm usually trying to make eco memes and trying to get my podcast ready as well. Just kind of get a few guests sorted. Then hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be recording them. Should be fun. Thank you. Yeah, trying to make them into bite-sized, trying to make the podcast into like some like bite-sized parts, like 10, 15-minute episodes and everything. It should be interesting. I'm just excited to see where it goes.
What are some of the topics you have you're going to do on your podcast coming up?
There'll be a good bit of mental health. I'll be discussing circular economy and fast fashion with my friend Carla. That'll be one of the first episodes. I'll be interviewing Amber Nuttall, the sustainability director for Extreme Hangout, and hopefully Wayne, Dr. Doorband, if you've got the time. And I think I'm speaking to a biochemist as well, which is cool, which is really, really interesting just to see if I can learn anything about that, because that's why I'm interested in doing the podcast, that I want to just learn everything, really. I really want to just learn all the things and just try to speak to people in the space that are actively trying to make the place a bit better and actually shine a light on them. I feel like that's a good place to start.
So I'm going to throw something out there because I'm not seeing other questions right now that get your thoughts on it, Craig, and then also the audience if they have it, and maybe some of my staff. We are discussing a partnership with a group here in the States that has a community that is an old military base that they're rebuilding. And they're asking us to help them grow some food there and do some aquaculture kinds of things. And they said they have a website that they had bought and many years ago, and it's called greenforyourhome.com. And he said that he thought we could use it more than he can, the guy that's doing this. And he even suggested a great use, which is that we should have a program where we help evaluate people's living circumstances, whatever they might be. And they would fill out some forms and maybe even send us some pictures and different things. And there would be a set of criteria. And if they're living and their question answers and the pictures they sent, or maybe even videos, fit those criteria, then they would get a plaque that they could mount in their house or somewhere where people would see it that would say certified by the Economic Action Team under the Green Home Initiative, or whatever it would be called. And again, there would be some small cost to them, just the cost to do the paperwork, let's say $15 or something. I don't even know what the right number would be. And then annually, let's say they would have to renew it, and because you want to make sure they were still living the way that they said they were. What do you think of that? And do you think that people would like that?
Yeah, I think that's actually quite a good idea, to be fair. Actually, yeah. I think that's a solid idea. If you want to pass me over the details, I can put it on the Eco Diary page as well and see if there are more people are interested in it. No problem at all.
We'll do it. Yeah. How about you, Lisa?
I'm good. It's interesting. I'm listening in and checking in to see if there are any more questions from the listeners.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks again for having me on the podcast. It really is. It is always a pleasure being on and chatting to you, and as well as you, Lisa. Thank you for your questions. Sorry for being a little bit nervous at the first time. It's been my first podcast in a couple of years or so, so I was just trying to find my sea legs again. So I'm sorry if I stumbled over some of the questions.
Oh, that's okay. You did great. It shows everyone these are live and spontaneous. So this is it's an actual real conversation. It's a in real time conversation, which we're out of practice with all the social media.
It seems to be. Yeah, it seems to be.
Yeah. So, and I just have one final question. Someone was asking, they wanted to know when you started the Eco Diary and why you started it. Yeah.
Well, I started the Eco Diary probably Well, the concept I was always thinking about wanting to start my own business, but I just didn't know what. And then I started becoming, whilst I was at university, I was doing freelance and social media, like just going around small businesses and everything, just like doing the social media for them, doing the photos, doing like the blog posts and everything and all that. And then I got involved with a company called Clean Air Ventures, which was selling heat pumps, and that is now called Heatio, owned by the CEO, Simon Roberts, who is just a fantastic guy. So that was like my first induction into the eco world, and that was about early 2021. And then the Eco Diary came on not after that, the idea, which was supposed to be a magazine. It was going to be like an eco-friendly magazine. And then I was just starting for a while. Then I started the website, making the blogs, and now I've started making the memes, which seems to have been they're doing okay, and just getting ready to start interviewing people for a podcast.
Well, that's
And here we
terrific.
are today.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, wish you all the best of luck. I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting
Thank you,
me
Lisa.
join in as a co-host, Wayne.
Awesome. And I did also, Craig, we said this when we talked privately before this, let's just stay in a little closer touch. We'll just,
Yeah, absolutely.
feel free to reach out, and we'll do the same. And everybody, thank you for being with us. And Ari, what's our next upcoming webinar?
Right now, I think
Hopefully
it's
they're
on
not as good as me.
On Thursday. No, Wayne is the speaker. Next one is on Thursday. And then we have a few in June set up for guest speakers. But the next one is Wayne on Thursday.
And we just have fun talking about all kinds of fun things. And we're getting ready to potentially buy a piece of property for an eco village in Idaho. And maybe Thursday, we're going to talk a little about, show some pictures of that and kind of what that looks like and what we're doing with it. And maybe even Bob Christador, one of our partners, will be there that day. And we might actually show some video from out in the Boise, Idaho area. So anyway.
Oh, fantastic. Wish you all the best with it.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. And we are at the top of the hour. So Lisa, thanks for helping out. And I hope my massage chair has stopped talking now. I don't know. It's and it was fine. And because Mark, I could not hear you at all at first, and then I kept saying the massage chair is talking. So I don't know how it got the signal, but anyway, it was a sign that we would have a comfortable conversation, which we did. Thank you so much, Craig. Thanks, Lisa.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll see everyone later. Mark, take us out.
Yeah. He's like.